It's been over 3 quarters since I've stopped uploading Polybattle content. And just recently, just last month, I've been grieving over my grandfather's death. And of course, this is one of the reasons why I haven't been active on this channel. And so, here we are again. I'm back for another video. It's been too long again. This is probably one of the videos where I haven't really scripted. And I'm probably going to go on top of my head on one of the topics that I really wanted to make, and it's something to do with polybattles. As you guys may know, of course, 9 months ago I uploaded a video that I was not going to move forward with polybattle content, and at that time it was doing fine, right? It was doing fine. It was like 2,500 players daily. It was averaging around there. But today, I think as of recording this video, it's averaging at around 500 concurrent players a day. Somewhere around there. It's like, that's almost like a 75% loss of concurrent players. Unfortunately, to me, though, I kind of predicted this. It's not a surprise to me. And on this video, I'm going to dive deeper onto what I think happened, or my opinions on what I think happened to this game. So what I'm mostly going to focus on is probably what happened during the summer of 2022, where, kids are out of school, people are going to be on Roblox, and those sorts of things. That's what matters the most. The summer's here. You want your updates to be pushed to get ready for the summer. And I think Polybattle's kind of flopped on that. The reason why I'm saying this is, back in June, I think the beginning of June, they decided to add attachments. But I think they didn't think the entire attachment thing through, and they kind of rushed the update. So everyone knows that a prerequisite to a good attachment is having a good recoil system. I think Polybattles kind of lacked the good recoil system that they have in the game, and they kind of rushed the update, thinking that they wanted to milk as much players as possible from this game for the summer, and be like, hey, I'm ready. This game is ready for the summer. And in fact, it's not really ready for the summer. And in fact, if you look back, they released this update back in June 4th of 2022, and they say that it is in alpha. Like, they didn't. It's in alpha, and don't expect anything else to be complete. And people were not happy about that update. Like, it saw a big spike on users. Yeah, June 4th, that's when it was updated. That's the Saturday on June 2022. They released that attachment thinking that, hey, school year has ended. A lot of players are going to flock to Roblox. And then all of a sudden, you have an influx of players just coming in. It peaked at 2.7 thousand players, when historically, back in May, it was like during final seasons where students are gonna take finals. It was at the low of like 1,100 players. And then once you approach June 4th, that's when the school year has kind of ended, and it peaked at like 2,700 players. And that was good. But what matters the most is what happens the next weekend. So if you look towards next weekend, which is June 11th, a lot of players started leaving. It's like I would say 30%, which is not very good. It tells people that the future of this game isn't very good. Historically, if there was a good update, the player numbers would go up and down, and that's when you know that they messed up on their update. And at this point, the game decided to leave quality control in the dust, and they rolled out weekly updates for the entire summer. so they could keep this game afloat. Unfortunately, the weekly updates that they're pushing out wasn't satisfying the players. What happened was that when weekly updates came through, more bugs started piling up for the game, and it kept piling and piling, and all those bugs that the players were experiencing turned into frustration. And so people were not satisfied. They decided to leave the game, and then they just left this game in the dust. Right now, as of right now, the last time they updated this game, just to let you know that today is September 11th, and the last time they've updated this game where they had like a big featured update was in July 23 when they released a new mode, 2 new guns and 2 new maps. But unfortunately, that was like somewhat of a nail in the coffin. When they released a new mode, they call it the Milsim mode, and I don't think anyone asked for a Milsim mode, even on Discord. Even on the Discord server, they never, or the fan base or the player base never asked for a Milsim mode. People asked for prioritize their updates on bug fixes, but it seems like they were left on they left the fan base in the dust again, thinking that, hey, just play this Milsim mode. It's not really a Milsim mode. If it was a Milsim mode, we would be playing Arma 3. But instead, we have a flopped game mode that no one really asked for. So right now, right when that update came out, that's when the player count dropped below 1,000 players on average. And as of currently standing right now, it's right now at around like 500 players, and there's still a player in there. There's still players in there, yes, but I think most of the players have kind of burnt out from this game. And honestly, I saw that coming during the early summers of 2022, when GameFam kind of made the ultimate decision to, use the old recoil system, which was completely flawed, going back to during early 2021 when they made the new weapon models, which I'll get to later on. So as you guys didn't know, in March of 2021 they released the new weapon model, and of course their new aim down sight system, which was really, really questionable because their recoil system back then wasn't very good. Like the recoil was going sporadic. It was going everywhere. The recoil wasn't even polished. It was made clear back then. I even showcased the new weapons, and as you guys may have noticed, that the recoil was very, very bad back then. How GameFam didn't catch that was kind of daunting to me, and they should have caught this in the first place, where prioritizing the recoil system should have been a thing. And another example of how I predicted this was back when I made video number 49 on my channel, which was published about, I would say, more than a year ago. And I reviewed what was, at the time, I think, the worst UI overhaul of Polybattle. Many players also expressed their concerns as well, and it looked like a mobile, it took up, if you guys looked at it, it took up a lot of space on the entire UI. I reviewed it, I said it was trash, and I kind of compared it to Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty's UI, where, back in that time, in Video 49, it took up, their new UI proposal took up so much of their screen estate, which led me to believe back in the time in 2021, August 2021, that GameFam didn't have any first-person shooter gaming experience, and And like if you compare both Polybattle and Call of Duty UI, you could see the big difference. You know, when they made that new UI, like I'm glad they actually threw that UI away and went for a more simplistic, transparent UI overhaul, which I think was a lot better than what it used to be. But I still prefer the old UI. No offense. But it does raise an eyebrow on the developers' future plans for the game. It's one of the first signs of trouble many players, including me, have crossed paths with for this game, because it gives many of us the impression that the developers do not know the fundamentals of first-person shooter games, as they had no prior knowledge of screen estate when I reviewed the terrible UI in Video 49. And this reasoning is also exacerbated when they released the Milsim mode that, no one asked for, like I said. And as it turns out, that update was to many players misleading, and it wasn't really a Milsim mode. It was just a Milsim mode for like Vietnam, and you could only use a specific weapon. Again, no one asked for that. It was a terrible update, and as a result, players were less confident with GameFam's ability to make Polybattle a better game. I was afraid of this when GameFam acquired Polybattle back then, and it turns out my fears were correct. One of the next things I would want to talk about is the core identity of this game. So if you guys don't know, the new weapon models came out back in March of 2021. And I think I talked about this before, but the recoil was sporadically out of control, and it wasn't really good on let's say like the legacy weapons. Like, of course, some of the weapons right now that they created out of scratch had really good recoil system, but the legacy weapons like the M4A1 or the Demolisher, which of course it's an AA-12, they had a very bad recoil system that GameFam didn't bother to fix at all. When you aim down sight, it just goes sporadic. I'm not talking about the recoil system here. I'm talking about the weapon model itself. It was supposed to be a low poly game featuring minimum graphics with better gameplay. Like, we don't really care about the graphics, We just wanted just a good enough looking gun, and then we just shoot around with it, just run and gun with it, and just be on our way with a good gameplay. And back then, before the weapon models were created, I think Emmis, the previous owner of Polybattle, he resorted to using open-sourced weapon models from Rudev, which at the time it was a good starter. It wasn't that bad, and go ahead and look back inside Polybattle right now. The evidence of Rudev's model is still there today. If you look at the pictures of the gun models, like those are actually Rudev's weapon model. It was still there today. Like the picture of it is still there today. It just has new models. And as GameFam took ownership of the game back in November of 2020, just a few months into their ownership, they threw out the open source model and they introduced highly detailed weapon models, which I think a lot of players say. I've gotten a lot of comments on this on my YouTube channel saying that it kind of reduced their performance, overall performance of the game, since a lot of them had lower spec PCs, and at the time, like my fan base is full of lower spec PCs and mobile players. They complained how it kind of got laggy. I think some other maps also had laggy, made their devices laggy even more, and that also contributed to their departure of this game. Of course, their new weapon models came with the chaotic recoil system, which I talked about before. In my opinion, I think I'm in for new weapon models to replace the aging open source model. But, you know, if the game, which is defined by its low poly weapons and good gameplay, replace the low poly weapons into highly detailed weapons, developers are essentially ruining the game's core identity. And when lower spec PCs and mobile players are your primary source of your fan base or player base, and you ruin the game's performance by just doing that and just adding random maps as well, that just makes the map really laggy and all that stuff, or it makes the device laggy, they'll find something else to play for the device. They'll find something else that they find playable for the device. And another, I would say, yeah. And let's say another reason why I would say Polybattle isn't doing very well right now is GameFam is a growing company. It's no secret that GameFam has grown a lot in the past few years, which is why I call GameFam the EA of Roblox. GameFam, just like EA, spread their resources too thin amongst many different projects, and Polybattle is no longer the focus, as many of their other games they own, like Sonic Simulator or Military Tycoon, are garnering players that makes Polybattle player count look like a drop of water in the bucket. And I wouldn't be surprised if GameFam decides to leave Polybattle in the dust. So, of course, if you guys are concerned about me, I am no longer doing Polybattles for this reason, which begs the question where I am right now. But as of now, I am streaming a bit of Minecraft. I did stop streaming because I was grieving over my grandfather's death. And I've been very, very inactive for a while, and I've been trying to get back on my feet for grinding new content. And another reason why is I've been going overtime at my workplace. I have a full-time job, if you guys don't know, and my boss is asking me to go overtime all the time. However, I am streaming from time to time, just very, very inconsistently, because my time at the company is also very inconsistent. So if you do find me streaming, just expect me to stream Minecraft for a little bit, or a little bit of Roblox. I mean, Roblox is getting a little bit dry, but there's some exciting stuff for Roblox, as I watched the Roblox Developers Conference just recently. And from time to time, you guys might see me play BattleBit Remastered, which I'm actually looking forward to, and it's the game that I'm playing in the background right now. And of course, I am also considering to push my content to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, if that game is good, because the release is coming soon, I'm pretty sure. And maybe I might do some Apex Legends. I'm not sure. If you guys want to follow me for that, I appreciate your support. I am still hanging around on Roblox under the condition if there's a game that really interests me. Is Polybattle fun right now for me? No. I don't think so. That's the reason why I departed this game, and I'm no longer creating content on it anymore. Is Roblox a chaos with what recently happened? Yeah. Of course, with the oof sound being deleted off of Roblox, I would say like things haven't been looking up for Roblox, and their new death sound it's pretty, I would say questionable, but it's also pretty bad. I don't really like the new death sound, that's my opinion. But historically, chaos and good gameplay have a fine line. They don't fit well together. But there is one game that is on that line, which is, of course, BattleBit Remastered, which everything is chaotic, but while being such a good gameplay as well. So yeah, here I am. I'm back. This is gonna be a sloppy recording of me just trying to figure out what happened with Polybattle and how Polybattles, or how GameFam killed their game. So yeah, that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk that I have about Polybattles. Leave a like if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you do like my content, because I'll be back for grinding on content. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.